What is up, guys? I'm Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health, fitness, social well-being, and this is Time to Build, episode 7. Gonna be taking you guys through a few updates as far as things that my coach has me doing. Talking to you a little bit about, like, what my weigh-ins are looking like currently, what my goal is for weight gain each week, everything like that. But before we get into that, about to get a workout in with my good friend and fellow Pump Chasers athlete, Maria.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Go ahead and talk about yourself a little bit. Go ahead and talk about yourself.
Tell about myself? Okay, so I am a Pump Chasers athlete. I've been a Pump Chasers athlete for about a year and a half now. And I'm originally from Ohio, but I just moved down here to Texas recently. I do have a YouTube channel if you want to check me out. I'm sure Marcellus will put it in the bio.
I might.
He better.
No, definitely will. So yeah, Maria's actually, like, technically my senior as a Pump Chasers athlete. But no, guys, definitely gonna have her information in the description down below. Definitely check her out. Just because, one, the fitness industry needs more people like her in general. People who actually take the time to research, learn what they're talking about before they make a video about it. She doesn't just put up random BS, fluff and puff workouts. Like, no disrespect, but unfortunately in the fitness industry, I feel like a lot of women aren't taking that seriously. And I think the reason for it is because a lot of them get caught up more in kind of like the lifestyle vlog, makeup tutorial type stuff, kind of like just the beauty aspect of it, which, not knocking that, but I know for a fact a lot of you are watching this channel who are women who want to learn more about actual fitness and how to build your bodies up correctly based off research, getting stronger, everything like that. And let's be real, even though what I say applies to both men and women, some of y'all are probably getting tired of listening to me talk about it. You want to hear the perspective of a girl. So you guys know that I don't send you to anybody whose content is garbage. Definitely check Maria out. You will not be disappointed. But anyway, today is upper body workout. We're gonna start off with bench and Pendlay Rows and then go through the rest of it. So y'all enjoy the video. Alright guys, so jumping in for a voiceover once again. This time I'm going to be talking about the workout itself. And you all let me know in the comments down below if you like the way I do these voiceovers or if you would prefer more raw workout footage from time to time, because I'll definitely do that for you. So right here you guys can see that we're just starting out with warm-ups. We're warming up our rotator cuffs. The reason that we're using cables instead of the plates is just because it allows you to keep more tension in the area that you're trying to target. Whereas with plates, you really have to make sure that your body position is correct in order to make sure that, like, you're keeping that tension on the area when doing rotator cuffs. And I actually got this from Derek, who once again is a physical therapy student. So a lot of the stuff he's learning, he applies to his training, especially like with prehab and rehab benefits. So if you guys, like, prefer to do rotator cuffs with, plates or dumbbells, just try it with cables from time to time and see if you notice that difference. So after this, guys, we did about maybe 10 to 12 each side just to get nice and warm. And then we went into some face pulls. Once again, face pulls are a great exercise for building up the rear delts, but more importantly, in my opinion, is their benefits just for overall shoulder health, especially in the rotator cuff area. So I like to do these, and as well as a few other dynamic movements before I get into any type of pressing or pulling motion. So it's a great way to start off the upper body workout. And as you guys can see, we focus on that scapular retraction before pulling, just so we're getting the furthest range of motion that we can, really engaging our rear delts as well as just working our rotator cuffs to a full range of motion. So right here, we start off with bench, guys. We had 4 sets of 5. Maria, as you can see, her setup is actually pretty good for the most part. Her bench has come a long way since we first started, especially in terms of her form. You'll notice that her elbows are a bit more flared than what you maybe want them to be, even though she's bringing the bar in the correct position. And this is me with 270 pounds, and you can see that I'm just a little bit more tucked as far as the elbows than what she is. But what you're gonna see in the next clip is kind of like how to help alleviate that if you have that problem. Like, even if you're bringing the bar right below the nipple line, which is where you should be placing the bar, a big benefit is going to be the cue to bend the bar. You guys are going to see right now her arms are pretty much normal, right? But then you're going to notice that I give the cue to bend the bar, and as she does, she's trying to bend the bar, it causes her arms to be tight. It's going to get her in a more tucked position. And now look at where her elbows are. Boom. And that's going to give you way more driving force and driving power. And regardless of how close or how wide your grip is, that's what you kind of always want to do, guys. Imagine yourself bending the bar and actually try to physically bend it, and it's going to cause that twisting motion in your arms, which will give you more tuck and more drive. So if you guys aren't doing that, definitely incorporate that, and it'll make a huge difference in your bench press. And of course, after that, guys, we went into Pendlay Rows. We had this for, I believe, let me make sure, I want to say 4 sets of 6. Yeah, 4 sets of 6. And what I'm really just focusing, guys, is keeping my hips in the right position, make sure I'm pulling the slack out of the bar before I pull, just because it has great carryover to the deadlifts. This is actually Maria's very first time doing Pendlay Rows, and for the most part, it looked pretty good. Her next few sets after this definitely looked better when we did adjustments, but I only recorded the first set pretty much of each workout, so I apologize for that. But for her first time, her Pendlay Rows went really well, and you guys already know that I'm huge on this movement, and I've already gone over the benefits of what that is. And after that, we go into our pull-ups for Maria. She actually hasn't done pull-ups in a while, but she still managed to bust out about sets of 4 to 5. And then I, of course, went into my weighted pull-ups. I am still currently doing, on this day, 4 sets of trying to build up to 4 sets of 10. I managed to get 10 in the first 2 sets with 80 pounds. And then I believe I got 7 and 7, which is 2 more reps than last time. So I don't do a whole lot of heavy work with my weighted calisthenics anymore, guys. Not because I don't want to, but it's because how it is my program is used for more accessory work and more volume. And I'll still, of course, get stronger, because as long as you get stronger, no matter what rep range you're working with, then, you know, your max strength is going to go up as well. But it's pretty much just so that I don't overly fatigue myself in terms of, like my main movements that I'm focused on. After that, we had 2 sets of weighted dips, 2 sets of 10. Maria hasn't done dips in a while, but she's trying to work on the depth. I did have to give her a slight correction as far as like trying to lean forward. You guys can notice I lean into my dips a little bit more, and I do that because, one, it's going to be better for chest activation, and more importantly, it's going to protect those shoulders. You don't want to be too upright when you're doing your dips, because that can put a lot of unnecessary strain on your shoulders, and that's definitely not something that you want to deal with in the long term. The dips is a fantastic exercise, but as usual, you want to make sure you do it correctly. So after this, you guys notice that Maria's trying to kind of lean forward a little bit, and it takes time, it takes practice to kind of be able to dip into the dip, needless to say. But in learning to do so, guys, you're just gonna get way more benefit from the movement. If you guys would like a full tutorial over dips, then be sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I'll definitely try to get around to doing that for you guys at some point. But after our dips, we went into incline dumbbell press. Now, something I want you guys to notice real quick is, as you guys see Maria, she's coming down, and she's coming down with the full range of motion, which is good compared to what a lot of people do. But notice once again how her elbows are kind of flared out a little bit. And once again, we did make the correction, and she did adjust for the next couple of sets. But once again, we recorded the first sets. But that's why I like training with Maria, because she's always trying to learn more, and she's very coachable. She's very teachable, and that is important for any lifter, but it's especially important for us as trainers, because you can't teach if you're not willing to be taught. And as you guys are going to see, like with my own incline dumbbell press, so I'm coming up and in, but then when I'm coming down, I'm tucking. I'm kind of giving more of a twisting motion in order to get, well, first and foremost, a full range of motion, especially with the bigger dumbbells, but more importantly, protecting my shoulders, not letting my arms be too flared out. And that's going to make a huge difference. You guys know I've gone over that before, but if this is the first time you've seen it, give it a try. No, you will not be able to do as much weight initially, but it's worth it for the better range of motion, for muscle gains, and protecting your shoulders. Then after this, we went into our incline hamstring press. Now, for those of you who don't know or haven't seen a video over this specific day before, it's just 2 sets of incline dumbbell press, and the reason being is because after that, you immediately go into 2 sets of incline hamstring press. So there's no need to do 3 to 4 sets of one incline movement, then 3 to 4 sets on another. So my coach has it broken down into 2 sets for each movement. Right here, you guys are going to see that Maria started off with a plate each side. I think she managed to get about 3 or 4, but then she realized she probably wasn't going to get the 8 to 10 that we were shooting for, so she ends up lowering it down to a 35 each side. And once again, you guys can see that she's already using the same cue of trying to be a little bit more tucked on the movement, which is good. Now with machines, it can be a little bit harder just because it's more of a fixed range of motion, and that's why I'll actually eventually do a video over how I believe it's the best way to incorporate machine work. So a lot of people try to use machine work to replace their free barbell work, and I don't think that's very optimal or a great idea, but machines definitely do have their place in training. Obviously, I'm not anti-machine, but I'll do a video over that at a later point in time. And right here, guys, we have single arm dumbbell shoulder press for this day, which is a slightly heavier day than the push day itself. I'm at the point now where I'm at 50s, which I'm pretty happy with, seeing as just a couple weeks ago I started with 30s. Still working on just maintaining form as far as keeping my glutes nice and tight, keeping my core engaged so that I'm not bending too far to the opposite side of the dumbbell. But all in all, this move felt really good. Had it for 3 sets of, I believe it's just 6 today. So next time around it'll be 8, and then I'll increase the weight again and go back to 6 and continue to build it back up. And this was actually Maria's first time performing this movement as well, and she took to it very quickly. She actually started off with 15 pounds, was a bit too light, so she moved up to the 20. And as you guys can see, she's doing very well as far as just maintaining position all in all. Body's very nice and upright, core's engaged, she's not leaning too far to one side or the other. So once again, just very, very teachable. And it's honestly kind of hard to find that a lot of people kind of get caught up in what they're doing, caught up in their ways, and they don't want to try new things. And by all means, do what works for you guys, so long as what you're doing is actually, proven to be effective. But be open to new things, because that's just going to give you more tools
to work with. And that's what people have to look at exercises as, guys. Look at exercises as tools to work with, not the end all be all of anything. Because once again, any exercise that you perform that stimulates the muscle can lead to maximum growth for the muscle if you do it long enough with enough volume. But it's just nice to have a little bit of variety, to have different tools, especially depending on what your various goals may be. So after that, guys, we started going into our last back movement, which is just the hammer strength row. As you guys can see, doing each side individually. You can do each side individually, you can do both of them at the same time, but I like doing this machine with each side individually just because it gives me a slightly longer range of motion on either side compared to doing both. But what I do is individual sides on this day, then on my actual pull day, I'll do the same machine, lighter weight, more reps, but I'll use both arms at the same time. And notice, guys, how even though, yes, of course, every back movement is going to work your bicep, but the focus is on driving our elbows back, getting that good squeeze, that good contraction with the back. Notice we're not holding it for 3-5 seconds. We're just making sure that we have a nice controlled eccentric and a full range of motion when we're using that pull. And that's, guys, really, that's all time under tension is. That's all the mind and muscle connection really is. It's just putting your body in the proper position to best activate the muscle. The reason people feel things more when they use the quote-unquote mind and muscle connection is because they're putting their bodies in the proper position to feel that muscle and to work that muscle most efficiently. Then after that, guys, we went into our isolation work, which is we had 2 bicep movements, the 1 tricep movements. We started off with barbell preacher curls. For barbell preacher curls, I want to say we had 3 sets of 6. I was using 80 pounds, and then Maria was using 40 pounds. Once again, guys, with all these movements, just going on 4 weeks ago now, started relatively light because a lot of my training is submaximal right now, and I'm just building it up as the weeks go by in order to build up more volume, more strength, and just kind of keeping my progression in the gym in alignment with my progression, like in terms of my weight gain. That's kind of what my mindset is right now. Like, okay, as the weight gets heavier gradually, I'm trying to get heavier gradually. Just kind of keep everything in alignment. I don't want the weight to get too heavy too quickly before I'm gaining weight, because then I'm going to feel it on my recovery a whole lot more. But I don't want to gain unnecessary weight if I'm not gaining strength in the gym at the same time. So that's kind of my mentality behind how I'm going about this whole lean bulk phase right now. And after that, we went into dumbbell supinated curls. I ain't gonna lie, your boy's looking pretty pumped in this clip. Very happy about that. But just as a whole, I've been feeling really good, guys, in terms of like just my recovery, the rate of strength gain that I'm getting. And that's why I'm glad I started a little bit lighter, just because I'm able to ease into everything. And as the weight's increasing, it doesn't feel like any type of drastic increase. Everything's starting nice. Whereas if I would have started around like 80, 85% on most of these movements, then by this point I probably would not be getting anywhere near the reps that I'm trying to shoot for, even with adequate rest time between sets. But yeah, as you guys see right here, getting a little bit fatigued, but still doing my best to try to maintain form, not use too much swinging, not use too much of my back. And when I get to the point where I know that I am doing that, I simply stop. So remember, guys, in my opinion, when you're close to failure, it's when your form breaks down. It's not if you can, like, swing in a few more reps with improper form. You don't want to do that. You always want to focus on getting what you can with proper form. That's why I think it's so ridiculous when you have people like, help you squeeze a few more reps out by pulling the bar off of you, or, you start swinging around. Like, there's no point. Just put the weight down, call that for the set, then come back next time and try to beat that by at least 1 more rep. As you guys see right here, Maria's using pretty good form. She has a slight little swing to it, but nothing too drastic. And it's actually like a very valid way that a lot of people do curl. I just prefer to be a little bit stricter, but all in all, everything's looking good. And then we finished off, guys, with tricep overhead extensions. As I mentioned before, guys, there's nothing wrong with doing tricep press downs. That's actually a movement that is on my push focus day, but I always think that if you have to choose as far as your isolation for your triceps, do overhead work, because that's just going to stimulate the long head a little bit better. And seeing as the lateral medial head get plenty of work from your presses, it just, in my opinion, always makes more sense to focus more on the long head. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for this workout, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you guys would prefer more just raw workout footage with these time to build episodes, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys, and enjoy the rest of the video.
That is it. We just wrapped this workout up. There we go. Can't even talk correctly. That's how hard we was working. Anyway, but yeah, I just wrapped this up. So appreciate my homegirl Maria for joining me Any last words for the people before we
That was a bomb workout. It was long, but I'm already sore, and it was phenomenal.
All right, so appreciate you for joining me, Maria, and we will catch you next time. Yeah. All right, guys, so back at the crib. It's actually now going on 7 o'clock, and I left Pump Chasers Gyms around 2. Had to head straight to TCU, train a few clients, and now I'm back home, continuing the video. Anyway, all I wanted to briefly touch on with you guys was kind of going over like what my weigh-ins have been looking like, and kind of give you an idea of pretty much like what the goal is. Because basically, well, the Natty Professor, or his actual name is Nsima for those of you who don't know, but what he wants me to do is try to gain about 2 pounds a month. So that's about half a pound a week. So that's pretty much what we're going for, just to keep the lean bulk very steady, very gradual. Now, the thing is, obviously, guys, you're going to deal with weight fluctuations. I've already addressed this in previous videos before as to kind of why this happens, in terms of like, you know, maybe one day your carbs were a little bit higher, so you're holding the water weight. Maybe you didn't, you know, do quite as much activity that day, so your expenditure wasn't quite as high. There's lots of reasons for weight fluctuations, but it's okay, because that's why you look at the weekly trends, and also just kind of look at, okay, but from week to week, are you consistently, you know, gaining or, you know, losing, depending on what you're trying to do. But in this case, we're talking about bulking and trying to build. So just so you guys kind of have an idea. Let's see if that clears up. There we go. So I started at 160.5, right? And we're going into the 4th week now, so it's almost been about a month. And now I woke up this morning at 162.8. Haven't put my macros in for the day, guys, because I haven't gotten them all yet. I've actually had nothing today but a smoothie, so I got to go get about 2,300 more calories. But the point is, if you guys will look, start around 160.5, right? But look, on the 2nd day already, look, 162.4. Probably just because, why? My calories had just been bumped up, you know, for my surplus. So probably holding like water weight, glycogen, but then look, it kind of balances back out. 160, 162, it fluctuates. On one day I got around 164. I think the highest I've been on this bulk thus far, if I go back and look, a couple of days ago, was 165.4. But if we kind of look at the weekly trends over here, because it takes the average of each week, we're on 161.85 here, 162.17 here, and 163.4 here as far as like weekly trends. So the gaining is still very gradual, as we can see. And if I pay attention to the beginning of each week, we can see, like I said, start at 165 and now we're at 162.8. And then as for my measurements, guys, nothing's really changed that drastically. Everything's just kind of gone up, you know, from week to week, very gradually by very slight points, if anything at all. So nice, steady increase, which is what we're looking for. It's kind of what we're going for. But yeah, guys, just keep that in mind. Understand that basically weight fluctuation is normal, and that it's okay. It's nothing to freak out about, and that this is why it's good and important to kind of track daily. Don't get obsessive with it. It's nothing you're doing to see like, oh my god, no, oh, I weigh more than what I should, or I weigh less. No, it's just data. It's just data, so you can look at the trends. You take this so that you don't have to stress. Because think about it, if you're someone where you just weigh yourself every now and then, and suddenly your weight's 5 pounds up, 5 pounds lower, whatever it may be, and you have no idea why that is, then that's reasons to freak out, right? But if you just track everything properly, there's no reason to freak out. Now, like I said, in a previous video, I went over, you know, caloric intake versus tracking your calories versus intuitive eating. There's a time and place for both. But for me, I have a goal. I have something specific I'm trying to work towards, which is gaining about 2 pounds a month. So it's very important for me to track daily, tracking my calories, my macros, everything like that. But it's nothing that I'm stressing out over. Like, I've had days where, you know, I was a little bit higher on my fats and a little bit lower on my carbs, or my protein wasn't quite where I wanted it to be, but my caloric intake was still good. My protein wasn't so low to where it would be like hurt me significantly. Like, it's okay. Like, I don't freak out over the numbers themselves. That's why I have these. It's just a guide. It's just a guide to make sure that I'm kind of staying on track with my goals. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk to you guys about really briefly and show you that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I need to take a shower, go get some food. But one thing I just did want to touch on very briefly, because I feel like I didn't quite do justice during the intro, guys, is that if you have not, definitely be sure to check out Maria's content both on Instagram and on YouTube. I'll have the links to both of them in the description down below. Maria is a very, very cool, genuine person. She's the type of person that, honestly, we need more people like her in the fitness industry. Specifically, we need more women like her in the fitness industry, just because it's always good to have people who are always trying to learn more, always busting their butts off to take the time to do actual research over the topics that they want to do videos on. Because so many people, they just do a video because it's like a buzzword or a buzz topic, like, oh, I'm getting lots of views. But no, she takes the time to actually
research. She takes a little bit of time to read a little bit every day, whether it's like, you know, watching videos, asking me questions, looking through personal trainer textbooks. She's always trying to learn and expand upon her knowledge, which is something that you guys know that I'm very big on, that I think everyone should be doing, but especially those of us who are trying to be personal trainers or who are aspiring to be trainers. And she's already done really good work with her clients thus far. And for those of you who are unaware, she was actually technically my very first online client before I opened it up to the public. She hit me up for training, and it was a good way of testing the system that I'm using to make sure that I can actually get people the results they need and get them their money's worth. So if not for her, in a lot of ways, I wouldn't be training quite a few of you. But yeah, she has really excellent content, guys. She's always trying to do better, and to see her growth that just in the time that we've met, how she's consistently expanded upon her knowledge has been great. And for a lot of you ladies out there, I definitely encourage you to check her out, because I know that, like I said, even though the research shows that what I'm saying is true and applies to both men and women, let's just be real. It's a lot easier on my ladies who are watching if you get to hear the same stuff coming from a woman. If you get to hear Maria talking about like progressive overload, the importance of gradually getting stronger, that men and women don't have to train differently, it's just going to probably help put you at ease a lot more. So yeah, I suggest you all check her out. Of course, if you don't like what you see, you don't have to sub. Don't sub just because Swolefessor told you to sub. But I definitely encourage you guys to check her out. Really great person, a lot of potential. She's going to do a lot of good in the fitness industry. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. That's it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If you did not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do to do better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.